Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to The Cosmic Catch-Up. I'm Corri.
And I'm Dana. We're real-life sisters who said no thanks to the 9-to-5 grind and yes, please, to the stars, spirit, and soul-led living.
Around here, we're talking ascension, astrology, human design, sound healing, and the messy magic of waking up.
So if you've ever thought, there's got to be more than this, you're our people. Two sisters, deep talks, whole lot of magic. Let's catch up.
Hi.
Hey, Corri. How are you today?
I was doing great, but now I'm really sleepy. I'm not going to lie.
You walked into my house and was like,
yeah.
The energy fell.
It's so soothing. No, I had to get up extra early today, and for a projector, that's really hard.
What's extra early for a projector?
6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay. That is early for you.
It is. And I don't have to go to a job. So
feels early. That's
really early.
My normal time of getting up. So as a generator, yeah. It doesn't mean that I'm not tired throughout the day, because I am, but I just can't. I'm awake. I'm usually wake up between 5 and 5:30. I lay in bed till 6. Sometimes I can stretch it laying in bed till 6:30, but after that, I've been awake for a while, so I got to get up.
A good wake up time for me is between 8 and 10.
I'm a little bit jealous about that.
But on the flip side, I'm usually jealous of you because of how productive you are. And I will say today, being up that early, I got so much stuff done. I was feeling pretty good. Had lunch with a friend, which was amazing. It was food for the soul, but maybe that's why I'm sleepy, because I exerted so much energy.
You did use a lot of energy.
I'm like,
yeah.
I really need an afternoon nap right now.
Yeah, I left my house, and that meant exerting a lot of energy for me.
Well, that usually is anyway. So
I was around other people today.
Yeah,
so
you were peopling.
Yeah, a little bit more than, way more than normal. Worth it, but also draining.
Well, and I think that is a good segue into our topic today, which is about energetic sovereignty.
Oh, yeah.
And peopling, especially right now in this environment, can be very, very challenging just with everything going on in the world. So I think that will be a good topic for us to talk about today.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the energies when we say everything going on in the world. Like,
yeah.
What are you seeing? What are you feeling?
Well, I think I have been hibernating in my house, which as an extrovert probably is a little odd for me, but I am loving it. And I think a big part of it is because I'm in my own energy. Yeah, I'm in my family's energy too, which I will say I was a little crunchy early this week, a little short-tempered, which I knew really wasn't mine, but I was a little bit of a grouch, I would say.
You had to move through it. You had to experience it.
I feel much better today, but I do think with when I say that, it's not necessarily that I'm in the throes of conflict or challenge. I will say, talking with my girlfriend today at the office, she feels the energy, which is very, very low vibration. I think there's a little bit of a defeatist feeling. I think there's a lot of anger, whether it's politics, world events. There are wars happening halfway across the world. We had a situation in Texas with flash flooding, and so I think there's just
weather events globally. Yeah,
and there are. I think I've heard. Tornadoes have been hitting, earthquakes have been hitting, so just a lot of
volcanoes erupting. Yeah.
So I think whether it's through the news or knowing people who've experienced hardship, there's just a lot of feelings happening.
Oh, yeah.
And I think those feelings, again, we talked about through sound healing and vibration, that frequency does matter. And I do think that there are a lot of people harboring some pretty low frequencies, which my girlfriend, it was a testament to her, she could feel it and sense it, and it was quite repelling for her because I think she does have a higher frequency. So it's hard for her to be in that energy. I think we're very fortunate, and that's probably why I stay at home, because I don't want to intermix in some of that challenging energy that I think people are feeling. I know there are solar flares happening, and so there's stuff happening.
Schumann resonance
in the universe.
Yeah.
That is contributing to, I think, some of these feelings and the energies that are moving. But Like there's just a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I think whatever you can think of, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like anything and everything, whether that's volatility in financial markets or potential instability there, or predictions that there could be, even gets us riled up.
There's a lot of fear mongering, I would say.
A lot of fear mongering. And this is not my saying, I didn't make it up, but when I heard it, and I can't quote who I heard it from, unfortunately, I would, but I don't remember. But it really spoke to me in that the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. And
I like that.
I loved it. I was like, oh my God, you're right. Because all of our fears, no matter what they are, aren't real ultimately. So I had started the practice of trying to unwind my fears and get to the why behind it. And in doing so, start to dissolve those fears. And I will quote Bashar, channeled by Daryl Anka, a lot. And you can look up. Those messages really resonate with me in talking about, it's important fear is an important experience. And we can thank our fear. That's a really fast way to dissolve it. Thanking the fear by saying, okay, thank you for showing me what I don't prefer. I don't prefer this feeling. I don't prefer this experience. I don't prefer whatever it is that is bringing up that fear. And when we say thank you, I acknowledge I'm experiencing this feeling. And it's showing me exactly what I don't need or want. And now I can let it go. I mean, I have dismantled a lot of fears just by catching myself as quickly as I can. It's not always in the moment, although the more I practice it, the faster I get at it. It might be a couple days later when I'm like, oh, thank you, fear. But in doing so, it pretty much goes away very quickly.
Yeah, and this is actually the topic that my girlfriend and I had at lunch today, and was talking about different fears. And part of that, and we talked a little bit about spiritual bypassing, but also just the reality of, because she said, well, how do you tackle it? And I said, that's a good question. And I think it's maybe different for everyone, but I said, release, an emotion specifically, but like being able to release through crying. And she's like, well, what if you can't cry? And I said, yeah, I don't cry a lot. So I get that.
Watch a sad movie. Anything with dogs or animals will make me cry.
For sure. I said, I did a meditation and just started crying one day. So I said, I knew I needed to release something. So it was good to let that go. But I said, part of it is just recognizing it and seeing it. And I said, so sometimes when I have a feeling, I'll start journaling and it will just come out. And then asking, though, why am I feeling this way? And trying to get to where this comes from, because I think it can be generational. It can be from past lives. It can be from just mindsets that you had as a kid. And we talked a lot about, like our mom's one of 9 kids. And so they didn't have a lot. And so while she was very appreciative of the little things they did have, I took that and interpreted it more of, wow, there was a lot of lack in the family. And then even growing up, while we didn't feel it, it felt intuitive because our parents were divorced. So it felt like, in my mind, there was a lack because we had 2 separate homes that were, even though that's actually
quite rich
to be able to afford 2 separate homes. But there's a lot of things that I think I put in my head when it came to lack. And so again, just looking at that instead of shoving it in the corner and saying, oh, it's fine. Everything's going to be fine. It's fine. You're fine. Really pulling that out and being able to take a look at that and say, okay, what makes you feel this way? And then how can you release that and move on?
Yeah. And there's so many ways, and it doesn't have to be hard. You could do one of the many rituals that we've talked about in prior episodes, or it can be simply, journaling, asking yourself, sitting in the present moment, bringing your attention back to that present moment, breath work, all the things that we talk about helps you move through those emotions. Sometimes we need to know where they come from. Sometimes we don't need to know where they come from, just to say like, okay, I acknowledge it and I'm ready to release it. And that can be enough as well. So
an emotion code is really good for that. I think especially helping you understand, do you need to know where it comes from or not? But I think especially in this time of, I hate to say uncertainty, because I think those of us in the spiritual community feel very confident in where we're headed. But I think for a lot of people, it feels very uncertain. And we are surrounded by people who feel very uncertain and very shaky, like on shaky ground. Their foundation is being challenged.
Yeah, I think that is the important thing to note is no matter what the world looks like on the outside, or what's going on around you, it all is serving a bigger purpose and leading to the greater evolution of humanity.
Yeah.
We are spiraling upward. There is no going back to low vibration. There's no going back to density. We are simply releasing, as is Gaia, Mother Earth, also is releasing some of these lower vibrational experiences, feelings, emotions. The Earth has emotions too, got to release through those volcanoes and earthquakes and weather patterns, if they're natural, type of thing that we are elevating. And so oftentimes, like the planet Pluto in astrology, like the tarot card of the Tower, that you kind of have to destroy what's not built on solid ground. What's not serving humanity for the greatest good has to crumble in order for us to bring forth the new. So out of chaos, out of darkness, sparks the light, sparks creation. So we're just in the messy part right now. But if you can focus on the after of that, instead of focusing on, oh my God, everything's terrible right now, to start focusing on, oh, these are good signs. These are beautiful signs that we are on our path to get to the other side, to get to the good stuff, to get to New Earth, to get to this beautiful world that we're creating in the fifth dimension. So it's just a much higher frequency, but we have to kind of clean up all the mess first.
I think the hard part, and I'm going to project myself into those that see the natural disasters that are happening and the death that comes with that, and probably feeling, and I've heard a lot of people say, well, how could God let this happen, right? And I think if we go back to some of our earlier podcasts where we talk about, we create our life plan before we get here. And so a lot of these souls that are leaving had planned to exit at this certain time. So it's still, for those of us that are here, it's heartbreaking. And as a parent, I cannot fathom what it would be like to lose a child, a parent, in a natural disaster. So I'm not claiming to and again, it's not spiritual bypassing, not, oh, it's fine, everyone's great, they're good. That's not what I'm saying at all. You have to process and grieve and go through the heartache, but recognize a lot of these souls did sign up and knew that this would be happening. And it is necessary to purge, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think at the same time, our culture, definitely in modern time, but I imagine you go back a couple hundred years, it might have been the same. Not always, not in ancient civilizations, but where we're at now, there is a lot of fear around death. And if you believe, well, it doesn't really matter what you believe, but death is not the end. It is simply a change of energy. So while, yes, there is grief, there is heartache when someone crosses over, because you maybe don't get to experience them every day like you do now. Yes, that's sad. Like you should have, it's hard. You should have grief for that. So let's not minimize that in any way. But their energy is eternal, I believe. Again, physics proves out that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply changes form. So it has changed form and it is still available in the universe. Doesn't lessen the pain. So yeah, you need to experience that pain. But at the same time, they're not lost.
Yep.
And they're not gone. So if we can, as a society, as an individual, really start to accept death as part of life, as part of this experience, and that it's not scary, then that can ease things as well. Yeah. Everything dies in a sense. I've had lots of ego deaths. The physical form. I've had lots of ego deaths.
Yeah.
We have deaths of jobs, transitions. We change constantly, whether we want to or not. So from that perspective, I think it can help if you kind of take yourself up a level and view it from that perspective and say, death isn't anything to be feared or to be scared of. Now, a lot of people say, I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to that, I would say pain is also part of the human experience. Suffering, though, is a choice.
Oh, I love that.
And that is your mindset of, do you want to stay in the victimhood? Do you want to stay in the suffering? Because we can get something out of that. We get sympathy, we get compassion, we get people paying attention to us. So there can be inverted benefits to that. But again, it truly is our choice if we want to stay in the suffering aspect. Now, pain is a part of life.
Well, and I do think as the world is shifting, and you can have empathy for families, or, you know, tragedies that happen. But if you stay in that, you too will end up almost suffering, because you're living in that lower vibration, and you're getting into a little bit of that victim mentality, but also that hopelessness. And so do your best when you hear about things and events that happen. Like for me, I truly am like, oh, you know, my heart breaks for them. I send out a prayer, because I know all of the victims of whatever tragedy happens, they are in a better place. And they're now truly living their best spiritual life, while we are still here in the hardest school in the universe. So really, my heart goes out to the people that are still
that
here,
that are left behind,
that have to deal with it. But so try just to remember that, and not stay focused in the tragedy, but know that out of tragedy comes a beauty.
Yeah, I think holding space, and what I mean by holding space is like saying a prayer, like you just said. In any situation, my prayer is that who's ever impacted receives exactly what they need. I am not all-knowing. I can't pretend to know what someone needs in that situation. Whether I can't say, oh, I send you peace, I send you love, I send you, I want, you know, I pray that they make it through, or they pull through, or they get better. Well, that's not for me to decide. Their soul has decided that. But I pray that they get whatever it is they need most, whether that's the person in the experience or the people around them, that they get whatever it is they need. And I feel good about that, and holding space and energy from that perspective. It doesn't mean I don't feel for them. I do, but I also don't let myself get sucked into it either.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And that goes back to, again, maintaining your sovereignty. And that's really what we want to address, because it's easy, again, to feel so compassionate for someone that you get pulled into those feelings or those emotions. And you've really got to start making sure, especially now, creating boundaries.
It can be hard, especially if you are out in the outer world, not in your own, own space all the time, that you're picking up on the collective energies, energies of the other people that you're surrounded with throughout the day, that it can be hard to discern and distinguish what's mine versus what's somebody else's or the collective. So it's really important for that sovereignty, as you said, but also that idea of a lot of self-care right now. Take care of yourself as best as you can. That's part of the energy of Jupiter in Cancer, is self-care. Huge. At the same time, as you mentioned, a lot of emotions being stirred up. Well, Jupiter expands and makes things bigger. So in Cancer, that's emotion. So it can make emotions a lot bigger. So these energies of our outer planets are so as within, so without is a universal law. So for me, it's whatever our inner world, excuse me, is experiencing is reflected in our outer world. And that's the same kind of for astrology and how I believe. So the outer planets aren't doing anything to us. They're just embodying a frequency and an energy. And how we experience it is based on our own inner world. So in saying that, we've had outer planets changing signs, like pretty much all of them. It's very big and dramatic energy, aligned with where we are in the history of Earth and humanity, because those energies support where we're going, but they can also stir up a lot of things.
Because outer planets don't change signs that often.
No, they have a much slower orbit. So I'm going to throw in Jupiter and Saturn and call them outer planets. They're technically not, but they're further away from Earth. So in that sense, Pluto being, we'll say Pluto's the furthest outer planet I'm going to talk about. There are other dwarf planets and asteroids that are further out, but we're just going to focus on Pluto right now to keep it simple. At the end, Pluto's been dancing in and out of Aquarius last couple of years. At the end of last year, 2024, it moved fully into Aquarius for the next 20 years. So until 2044 now. So that went from an earth sign to an air sign. That's a huge shift. Earth is the slowest moving element. Air is the fastest. So we're just in the beginnings of what this means, and we can do a deep dive into that another time. But that's a big shift energetically. Then this year, we're having a taste of three other planets moving signs. We've had back in March, and then a little bit later, more recently, we had Neptune move into Aries from a water sign of Pisces, and we had Saturn move into Aries from the water sign of Pisces. So we're just going to get like fire. Yeah. Aries, sorry, from water to fire. Again, water is the second slowest and fire is the second fastest. So big shift in energy. Now we're just getting a taste. It's a few months this year of both of these planets in a fire sign. They're going to retrograde back to the final degrees of Pisces, a little bit more to clean up and stir up there. And then next year, 2026, they will both fully move into that fire energy. And Saturn will spend about 2.5-ish years, and Neptune will spend 14 years in that fire sign. And then we've had just recently Uranus move from Earth to air, from Taurus into Gemini, another big shift. Uranus is going to spend, again, we get a taste, right? It's going to be an air sign for a few months, retrograde back into that Earth sign, finish cleaning up, stirring up stuff. Uranus likes to make fast, dramatic changes, unexpected. And it's all shifts moving us forward. Yeah. All shifts moving us forward. So we can either say, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. This sucks. Or we can say, okay, means it was time to make a change, and I'm going to go with it and flow with it. So again, we're making huge shifts. And then we had, Jupiter also this year move into Cancer. Jupiter spends about a year in each sign. So it moves much more quickly. So that's what I say. I'm going to lump it in. But basically, all of these outer planets have changed signs this year in 2025. It's a lot. It's a lot for our bodies, our physical bodies to take from an energy coming at us. And then you add the solar flares, and you add the Schumann resonance, which is the heartbeat of the earth, the frequency of the earth, that's been shifting and changing wildly and dramatically the last couple of years. And we're seeing spikes in the Schumann and patterns in the Schumann that we've never seen before, to where people who follow it regularly are like, I can't explain what this is, because we've never seen anything like it. And again, to me, these are all beautiful signs of our evolution and where we're going, but it doesn't stop us from being physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted. Yeah. So
feels very draining at times.
Very, very draining at times. And so this is what I mean by saying, okay, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our physical bodies. We have to take care of it's the body. There's a consciousness to our bodies. Yeah. Some call it the inner child. We have to take care of that. We have to take care of our emotional well-being, our mental well-being, our spiritual well-being. All of that has to be of hyper focus, in the sense of right now, the best thing you can do to be of service to everyone else on the planet, because I know we've got service-minded folks in here, is to take care of yourself.
And people always say, yeah. And then they don't. And here's the thing, because I'm going to call out some friends.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. You will say, oh yeah, but I've got, I have a lot of responsibility, or I've got a lot of, commitment, or whatever it is that you feel like. You use it as an excuse, not as an empowerment tool. And yes, if you have a lot of responsibility, then you should know that you have to be responsible to yourself before you can be responsible for others. And in human design terms, generators and manifesting generators should have excess energy. That's the energy that you give to others, is the excess. When you give from what you have, you're depleting yourself, and therefore you're actually depleting others. So you're not actually being of service when you do that. You're hurting everybody, you included. And that's when that burnout happens. And then you just can't, it's like you go through dysfunction. You're like, do not compute, right? Because you are just so drained. And so if you feel like, yes, I have these things, it's not a badge of honor to say, oh, I'm exhausted because I did all these things for other people. It's harming you.
Yeah, and that's when you're staying in the suffering.
That's right.
Aspect.
So recognize that if you have that responsibility or caring or whatever it is that you need to do for others, the best thing you can do is support yourself. Then that caring naturally comes through for others, and you can help others from a state of excess, not of depletion. So
yeah, and that's going to look different for everyone. I think it's not realistic necessarily to, if you have a full-time job, to say, oh, I'm tired every day, like
sure.
right around 2 or 3 o'clock. Well, it's not likely you're going to be able to go take a nap unless you work from home. And you can build your schedule that way. If you do work from home, great, build your schedule however you need to. But if you're physically going into a space and working, yeah, that's going to be hard. So what can you do? Maybe it's taking a 15-minute walk, getting up from your desk, finding a window or going outside and taking
a bath.
Doing it when you get home,
taking deep breaths.
Yeah, I'm just
by yourself.
finding ways to carve out in your day that fit your schedule and make sense for your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be big and dramatic, but allow yourself to do that without the guilt.
Yeah,
and without the judgment.
How about you stop checking emails when you get home from work?
Yeah.
That's an easy take care of yourself right away. Is it'll be there tomorrow, because all you're doing is you're continuing your anxiety through the night. So how are you going to sleep well if you are anxious because you just read 10 emails and are now trying to respond versus having a moment with your family? I mean, I've got teenage boys, right? I've got one more year before my oldest goes off to college. Every minute counts, and this kid never wants to spend any time with us. So when we mandate family dinner, guess what? There are no phones at the table. We laugh. They come kind of grumpy because they don't want to have family dinner, but man, we start getting them laughing. And it's like you take the emotional picture, right? You're just taking it all in because no one is on their phones. We're laughing and joking and having a good time. That's the type of stuff that will fuel your soul. And so if you keep working, thinking, well, I'm working to earn money to one day retire. Well, sometimes people die before they retire, as we're seeing a lot of death happen, right? So be in the moment. That work is going to be there tomorrow. And by the way, that laughter with your family is going to help your endorphins and then actually help you sleep much better because you're not tense and anxious. You've now been able to release and let go and have fun. And so better sleep. You get up and you're able to just tackle the day more so than you would be able to if you are anxious and then getting up at 6:30 and checking email again.
Yeah. We talk about, astrologically, these planetary changes and making us all tired, right? Like we kind of talk about the negative impact on our physical selves, but the positive aspect of Saturn and Aries, it's about boundaries. The planet Saturn, imagine, those rings around Saturn. It's about having healthy boundaries. And Aries is the sign of the self. So sovereignty within the self and having healthy boundaries for yourself. And that includes in every aspect of life. So work, it's with your personal relationships, it's with, yourself and having responsibilities to yourself more than anything. So there's some beautiful aspects that will be coming through as we really get into this energy and more into next year. But why wait? Let's start now.
Well, you have to ask yourself, why do you think other people are more important than you are? We often treat ourselves as the least important. And one of the things that my girlfriend and I were talking about is even self-worth and being the character of your own story. And I said, as the character of your own story, would you be like, well, I feel so bad about myself and I hate myself? No, you would be like flipping your hair saying, I'm amazing. I look great. Right? And tackling the world by storm and being in your power and all the things, because that's what main characters do. Mm-hmm. So if you are going to take care of one thing, it should be you. And we are terrible as human beings. We're terrible at it. We're victims and we're sad, and because society has conditioned us that you have to look a certain way, you have to make a certain amount of money, you have to live a certain way, do all these things. Guess what? That's all fake. It's not real. So when you start to kind of peel back the layers and go, okay, why do I feel this way? Or why am I not taking care of myself? Ask yourself, why are you not taking care of yourself? Do you not feel worthy? Do you? Because that was my problem. I couldn't receive help because I didn't feel worthy. I didn't want to be vulnerable, and I didn't want anyone to regret giving me help. Like thinking, well, man, I shouldn't have done that for her, right? Or she's not grateful or whatever it is. And so it was just easier for me not to accept help. So I took it all on myself, and then guess what? Burned out and exhausted and feeling sorry for myself. So now anytime anyone offers me help, I say, yes, gladly, I will take it. I'm happy to receive. And I think for anyone in corporate America, I think just generally that's how we operate, because we're ambitious and we think we have to be strong. And some of mine I attribute to being firstborn and feeling that responsibility of and showing people I can do it by myself, and whatever it is. There's a whole slew of things that I'll save you the trouble of digging into my inner soul. But I am peeling back my own layers, and so I recommend for all of you, this is a good time to start peeling that back, because this old junk that the earth is clearing out, it needs to clear out in ourselves too. You don't want to take this in a new earth with you.
No, and the sooner we do this work for ourselves, the faster we get to the other side, the faster we bring in that new reality. And everyone's on their own timeline. Mm-hmm. I mean, from it happens for you whenever it happens. So you don't have to wait for everybody else, because you can start experiencing fifth dimension is a consciousness level, not a physical change in your reality. So you can go there anytime. And that is the fastest way there is through your own healing. So while it can feel gross and painful and there's lots of tears, we'll get out some tissues. That's what I mean. Like, time to pull up the pants and move through it. And you just feel so much better on the other side of it. And I'm done a lot of healing. I'm still doing a lot of healing. I'm not done with it. But the more you work on yourself, the faster and the easier it gets to recognize, and it is a practice. So I have to practice. I'm not perfect at it. I'm not great at it all the time. I just do what I can when I recognize it and in that moment, and know that that's great. That's good enough. That's exactly what I need to be doing.
Well, and I think for those of you that are very sensitive to energy and can feel the heaviness that's happening right now, it is even more critical that you take care of yourself and your own energy, because you just can absorb and take all that in, and it can be overwhelming. I think that's why I hunker down in my house and I try not to leave much.
You have to listen to your energy. So if there's days or weeks that you need to hermit, and by staying in your own home and your own energy, then that's what you do. If there are times when you feel called to go out into the world, then go out into the world. But that is another practice, is really trying to listen to our bodies and listen to our own energy. And what do we feel like in this moment? What do I feel like doing? There was a day earlier this week that I was like, I just really can't do anything but lay on my couch. So I'm going to allow myself the whole day to do nothing but lay on my couch. And then the next day I felt like, I feel like I can do a few things today. So I'm going to do those few things. I'm not going to overdo it, but I'm going to do those few things. And the next day it's like, okay, how do I feel today? What do I feel like doing today? And listening to that inner child of like, if you need to play. Like earlier today, I was feeling a little tired, but I was like, we're going to record, so I need to get my energy up. So I put on some 80s music, thanks to your husband for setting that playlist, and I danced around my kitchen. And dancing will raise your vibration, finding, something cute or funny to watch or listen to. We talked about before, you and I are being very conscious about what we're putting in and on our bodies from a food and product and even materials perspective. We also need to be very conscious of what we're consuming media-wise with our eyes and our ears. So, I mean, we talked, I haven't watched traditional news since 2015. And I don't need
TikTok has news. I mean,
TikTok has news. Yeah, like I don't watch the full story. But I'm talking
Facebook, Instagram, they all have news.
They do, but I'm talking about like traditional media news.
Traditional news is pretty well dead. As a media professional, I would say it's reserved for usually anyone 65 and older.
But there are days that even on social media, I'm like, I don't want to listen to that story.
Right.
I don't need to know that. That's not something that feels good to me today.
Yep.
Sometimes I will tune in because it's a movie and I'm enjoying the movie. Let's just see what's happening in the movie today. And I feel like my energy is robust enough that no matter what's happening in the movie, it's not going to impact me. And there are also days that I know that I'm like, nope, that's not good for me to watch right now. That's not going to help me feel good. So I will skip it or swipe through it or whatever that is. So I think we talked about like most of my social media channels are astrology and animals.
Well, nice. And I practice just plain discernment. So I could be watching something and it starts to get heavy and I'm like, you know what? This isn't for me. Moving on. Because my investigator craves information. And so I do have to fuel that in certain ways, but I can also tell if it's information that is for me or not for me. And so practice that. If you're getting into news or stories, and if things start to feel heartbreaking and heavy, maybe it's time to move on from that, because nothing serves you from getting into that and getting into those feelings. It's just harder to get out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of like, how did you learn to discern what was good for you and what wasn't good for you? Like, how can you tell?
Oh, that's a good question. We always talk about what resonates. And so even with good stuff, I think I told you in one of the episodes, I mentioned like even mediums and psychics that I listen to, sometimes they say stuff that I'm like, no, that doesn't align with me. I like your other things you're saying, but I don't agree with that. And that's the thing in the spiritual community. And you'll see a lot of people that talk about that. So I don't know. I guess I sit with it to say, does this feel true for me?
Like, is it a physical feeling in your body? Is it emotional feeling that you're like, okay, yes, I feel calm with this?
It's like a gut feeling.
Gut feeling, yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel emotional. Like I don't, and I will say, if I start to feel emotional or like angry, or that's a trigger, that's a shadow. So if I get triggered by something and it starts to make me mad, then I actually take a step back and go, okay, why are you mad about this? Because you're not impacted by whatever. And there are news stories that I know triggered a lot of people, got very angry over something. And part of that is also letting go of what's in front of you, the perception of what you see, and recognize there's a bigger game or movie at play. And so a lot of the things that are happening right now, I believe are disclosure and allowing people to see the truth, because the only way people actually believe something to be true is if they witness it with their own eyes and they see the deception, right? Because if you just tell someone, hey, you're being deceived, how often do people believe that, right? They actually have to be deceived themselves before they go, oh, I see it now, right? I'm off topic. But all that's to say is, for me, it's just, it feels, it's my inner knowing. It's like this feeling of like something doesn't sit well with me. And I just kind of go, I don't think that's true. It may or may not be, okay? But for me, that's not my reality, and I don't believe that, and I don't want to invite that in.
Yeah, we don't have to, not everything has to be true for everyone.
Yeah.
To your point, it's not true for you. It could be true for somebody else if they choose it to be. But yeah, like you can say, yeah, not my timeline, not my reality. And when we say that, there are lots of timelines happening all the time, or simultaneously, in the sense of like, we are creating our own reality. Our perception is our reality. So there is general timelines that groups of people are on, but then there's also your own individual one. So it's, again, to what you said, like, am I going to invite that into my timeline, my experience, or am I going to say, no, that's not for me? So there are things that I know are happening in the world, like the various wars and conflicts between countries, various things happening at the larger government scale. Like, I know they're happening because I paid enough attention, but I choose not to know the details. I don't need to, because there's gross stuff going on that I'm like, yeah, I know there's gross stuff, but I don't need to watch it or consume it or take it into my sacred energy. I consider my energy sacred. I don't need to bring that in to consume it and add that to my energy. I can just know from a distance, and that's fine for me. Some people, it's helpful for them to know those details, whether it's helping them wake up or it's helping them understand, process it. Totally fine. If that feels good to you, do it. There's no judgment there.
Yeah.
I just know, to what you were saying, like, I know kind of instinctively in my gut, like, yeah, no, I don't want that in my reality. So I'm not going to pay attention to it. Again, I think quantum physics has shown that particles don't form until we pay attention to them. But I've dumbed that down significantly. But in that sense of like, until you pay attention to the particle, it's like floating around. It's a wave. It doesn't become solid until we put our focus on it. So that's true, I think, of what we focus on mentally. It doesn't become real until we really focus on it.
Well, we're talking about doing a Matrix episode.
If you'd like that, give us a thumbs up.
but I think part of that too is recognizing that we are creators. We are creating our reality, and it's really hard sometimes to wrap your head around. And there's a lot of quantum physics that go in with that. But everything is energy. So even money is energy. The things in front of you, you're creating. the house that you live in, you're creating. And so again, we're great creators. And if you don't have your energy protected, how are you going to create? Or you're going to create something that you do not want. Because again, if you're thinking of how terrible and you're constantly dwelling on all the terrible things in the world, you're inviting terrible things into your life. Versus recognizing, hey, yes, that thing had to happen, but man, it's going to be so great on the other side, right? And just welcoming in the beauty. Create what you want to see and feel and be through your own interactions and your own energy and, where you want to go, I guess.
Yeah. Again, another Bashar saying or teaching was that the universe, God, source, creator, supports us unconditionally. By that meaning, if you think or say or feel this is going to be hard, the universe says, okay, it'll be hard.
It'll be hard.
Because that's what you said it would be.
Yeah.
So it'll be hard. I'm going to support you in whatever you want. If you say this is going to be easy and great and wonderful and joyful, they'll say, okay, it'll be easy, great, wonderful, and joyful. Because that's what you said you wanted it. Yep. So from that perspective, which one do you want to choose? So I catch myself too. I have, I will give this a very basic example. I had a piece of furniture I wanted to sell. And it was oversized and it was, it was trendy like 10, 15 years ago, but not really so much anymore. And my initial thoughts were, I don't think anybody's going to buy this. Like, this is going to be hard to sell. And I immediately caught myself and I said, oh no, universe. I want this to be super easy to sell. Like, I want it to be so easy and effortless to sell. So I put it out on Facebook Marketplace and I was like, okay, it's going to sell super fast and they're going to come and pick it up and it's going to be so easy. And I posted it early evening. By the next morning, I had a couple messages about it. I picked the one who messaged me first, looked up this buyer profile, great reviews, 5 stars from the buyer. She said she could come that day and get it. Mm-hmm. And we worked through the details of the timing. She showed up on time, paid me cash for exactly what I wanted. No negotiating. She just paid me my full amount and took it away with her. And it was the easiest experience I'd ever had trying to sell anything. And it was the fastest experience. So less than 24 hours, I got rid of that piece of furniture that my initial thought was going to be hard to sell. Mm-hmm. So that's just one example of like, oh, no, universe. I don't need it to be hard. I'm choosing for this to be easy. And that shift. And then you have to like believe it's going to be easy and let it go.
And let it go. That's the thing. You have to let it go.
It's trust.
Don't worry about it.
It's the trustful.
Yeah.
This is where that comes in.
Yep.
And that's a small example. So if you can do it with the small things, you can do it with the big things too. So I practice it with parking spots and I practice it. You get this practice.
I do too. Anytime I'm going somewhere, I'm like, we're just going to find a spot. It's going to be super easy
right
front.
There. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Princess parking.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a practice thing. So practice small. You don't have to like immediately practice with the big things in life. Like start small. Prove it to yourself.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's a great example. One of the things I was thinking about too, we as a society, because that trust made me think of control, which is like my middle name, which I'm working really hard on. But as a society, for whatever reason, we either spend a lot of time in the past, and even we did it with my kids, looking at baby pictures and it was like, oh, this is so great. But living in the past can create, and I don't know who said this, but it really resonated with me, which was can create depression because you miss the good times. Mm-hmm. And honestly, even the hard times, we fantasize into good times. Like for whatever reason, it was like, oh, remember that? Oh, it wasn't so bad. Yeah, whatever. And then for those that want to know what's going to happen, right? And especially we're in a very tumultuous time. It's like you focus so far ahead, or even you think, oh, I've got a vacation planned, or my son's going off to college, and you start thinking about all the things that are happening in the future, and you actually live in anxiety because there's still unknowns there. And I could live in anxiety thinking, oh my gosh. And I said the other day, I don't know if my son's going to make it on his own. We'll see. Right. But I could live in that, or we can just embrace the now that we're in. And that was, I think because I live so much try to live in the future so much that I'm like, okay, you need to knock it off. Be in the now. And like I said, being at dinner with my kids and laughing and being in that moment, that was so special. And of course, now I'm in the past because that happened in the past. But if you can take each day as it comes, it's like step by step. It's eating that elephant one bite at a time. It's not so overwhelming anymore. And because we're in this time of air and fire, things are moving at such a rapid pace. And I think even shifting, when you think about the astrological signs of technology is going to be shifting substantially, and financial systems shifting, and government everything is shifting. So you can dwell and wonder on, oh, what's it going to be? Or you can just say, you know what? It's going to be for our greatest and highest good. And so I'm going to let that keep moving. And I'm just going to enjoy where I'm at, because it is going to be December, like a blink. So be in the moment, enjoy the moment, and don't worry about the other stuff that it's inevitably going to happen and change.
Yeah. There's some great books out there. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
The Untethered Soul, is Michael Singer, I think, is the author of that one. Mm-hmm. Those are great books to kind of help give you that bigger perspective, or that bigger view, or the soul's view. Reminders that we are not the voices in our heads. We're the beings listening to those voices. Sounds crazy. But that idea of like that self-talk, because my mind never shuts off. And I do like to remind myself that I'm the one listening to that.
Yep. And
I think Michael Singer gives the example in the book of like, if that voice was a person sitting next to you in a car that never stopped talking, would you like to hang out with that person? Yeah. So I practice quieting that voice as much as possible. Or if I can't quiet it, redirecting it. Say, I don't need
with a defined head, you're probably never quiet it. But I think redirecting is great.
Redirecting it to say, okay, like, I think predictions are really hard to do right now. Worrying about the future doesn't help. So if I can't shut it off, let me start to think about what I want to see in the future. Like,
you're a creator.
I'm a creator. So let's start, like, I don't need to worry what's going to happen because I'm creating the future in every moment of the now. So do I feel at peace right now? Yes, I'm going to create more of that for my future. Do I feel joy? Yes, I'm going to have more joy. I don't need to know the what or the how.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I am going to be able to eat healthy, good food for myself. I'm going to be able to have work that I find fulfilling and joyful. I am going to have plenty of time to play, or I do have plenty of time to play, whatever, like speaking in the present moment. But if you're going to think about the future, think about the one you want to create, not the one that you're afraid will happen.
Yep. And again, be in the now. Don't think about, well, when this is that, or, you know, when I have a good job, or when I get to go on vacation. No, it's happening now.
Yeah. What I'm practicing right now is the believing is seeing.
Yeah.
So not seeing is believing. That's old. We're not doing that anymore. We don't need proof. We are the proof. So it is, I have to believe it, and then I will see it.
Yep.
So believing, this is all going to be great. And believing that, yeah, like in this moment, is anything wrong? No. Absolutely nothing is wrong. Never is. Do I have enough? Yes, I have enough.
And honestly, if you're going to be on social, fill it with really cool, like I just had the coolest, was it TikTok? No, was it Telegram? I sent it to you. Flying cars. Like it was, and again, it was probably AI generated, but it was showing like what a family vehicle or a 2-seater, and like they were so cool.
Like I want one of those.
And it's going to work by telepathy and
consciousness.
energy and consciousness. I was like, huh,
yes.
Like my mind is blown, but I got so excited and energized by the thought, and that's silly, right? They're cars, but like this idea of the future is not that far away. And so while I'm not going to dwell on that, I can still say, man, I can't wait to drive a flying car.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be so awesome, right? To be able to live in green spaces, to have moderate temperatures where it's 75 every day and 50 in the morning. Like
beautiful architecture.
Amazing. Yeah, the architecture. You're going to have inside outside spaces, right? It'll all be infused like, oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yes. That's where you get excited about it and bringing it, and that brings it in faster too. This idea of, this is something recently I've heard, the idea of that you have to learn how to manifest. No, you don't. We are manifesting constantly all the time. It's just like we said, like what are you focused on? So if you're focused on negative things, you're just manifesting negative things. So you get to choose how to be, and it's the feeling that brings it in. So we talk about you have to match a frequency. Well, you are your own unique frequency. You just have to let go of all the frequencies that aren't yours. So if you're trying to force your way through a job, as I have done many times, that job is going to resist you if it's not meant for you.
Yeah.
You're going to face hurdle after hurdle. You're going to find burnout. You're going to be exhausted from it. You're going to be like miserable at it. That means it's not for you. And that energy is trying to leave you, but you're holding on to it.
Yep.
And the faster you let it go, that's when the thing that is aligned already with your natural vibration is going to come in for you.
Yep.
So when you talk about control, it's like we got to be okay letting go of the stuff that isn't aligned for us, that we might have been conditioned to believe was.
There's a lot of people holding on to things that, honestly, I do think, because it's all we've known, and we talk about this matrix in 3D, and I know there are a lot of people clinging to the idea of the organization we were with, how it used to be. So going back to the past, that's depressing, right? And you live in this, oh, I wish it were this way. That's gone. And you have to be in the here and now, but you have to recognize that, yes, that was great at one time and the energies were wonderful. That's not how it is today.
We
anymore.
need something else now.
That's
it's
right.
Time for the shift.
Let it go and be able to move on. It's so you can enjoy the memories that you have, but don't cling to them, because you're never going to get into the newness if you're holding on to the past. So I think that's really important.
I agree
today.
with you. These were hopefully, it was a bit of a ramble, but hopefully
Yeah.
you got some practical tips that are easy to do to help you move through this energy. It is intense. We can't deny that. But
And it's going to continue to be.
oh yeah, we're not done.
And even into 2026
And beyond.
and more. So I was just baby steps.
Baby steps. So we're going to focus on the now, and we're going to, and again, you get to choose your reality. It's choose your own adventure time.
Yep.
So I am going to choose as much ease and grace as I possibly can. And to do that, I practice my own healing work.
I love it. Me too. Well, and so some things that I do. So actually this morning, as part of my practice, I think I mentioned it in rituals, I like to pull a tarot card just to check on the energy. And so as part of my discernment, when I pull a card, I intuitively know right away, is this mine or the collective? And actually, might have been Monday, I immediately got this is collective. And then today I got collective as well. And then the card I pulled today was the Tower card. And Dana had mentioned the Tower, which is basically collapse. But I think of it like the phoenix. It's going to burn to the ground. But it's ultimately for our greatest and highest good. So it's going to rise from the ashes, and new and better things are going to come of it. So I can see, and I know you can as well, I'm sure plenty of you all can see companies and organizations that are starting to burn. And it could take a very short amount of time. It could take a long amount of time. It doesn't really matter, but you start to see these foundations crumbling. And so the Tower for me was just a reminder that yes, things are happening. You don't need to get caught up in it. And ultimately it's going to be so much better on the other side. And so, I thought we'd pull a tarot, maybe a couple tarot, and then I'll pull Oracle card, but I think it's, this one's on the bottom, and that's the Tower card. Speaking of,
can't make this up.
I mean, so anyway, if you are looking for a way to stay grounded, I think that's a good way too, because I just checked I basically pull a card to see what my energy normally is going to be like for the week and even for the day. And sometimes I get stuff that I'm like, well, I don't like that card. But then that's kind of an assessment of like, okay, why? Why don't you like that? Like I've been getting the 5 of Cups a lot. And I'm like, I'm not ignoring things that are in front of me, right? Like, no. So I do have to do some assessment of like, okay, what are you holding on to?
Dig a little deeper.
What are you still clinging to? Because we all do it subconsciously.
Yeah.
So you never know. All right, let me see.
I look at all of these, again, having compassion for people going through difficult times. I still am able to see the bigger picture of this is really positive. Like it means that things are moving in the right direction. As things fall apart, it means they're moving in the right direction. And that's pretty much what that card says.
Well, I know. I was like, I kind of love this card. It actually fits with Dana. It's the 6 of Swords. And essentially, we're moving away. We're moving away from something that no longer served us. And you can see there's like little land way down here, but it's part of it's like they're distant and they're far. So maybe they don't know where they're going, but they know they need to go somewhere.
Yeah, they're leaving the rough waters for smoother sailing ahead.
Oh yeah. Because you can see the rough waters right there. Yeah. It's smooth out there. So anyway, I love that. That's actually a really good card, I think, for the collective. So that's the way we're moving. So you can move with it. Again, Dana said it's on your own time, or
it is on your own time. There's
faster.
No judgment. I'm not perfect at this again. And perfection is kind of impossible. But so, from that perspective, so it's just do what you can each day and don't judge yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm working on not judging myself. I keep saying it because that's what I'm working on. Yeah. Corey's working on letting go of control, and I'm working on not judging myself so harshly. So we're all doing our things.
More than that. I got a lot more than that.
Well, yeah, me too. That's just what we talked about today.
Just a few.
Yeah. So it's like, just do what you can in every little moment. And if it takes a couple of days, it takes a couple of days. It takes a couple of weeks, it takes a couple of weeks.
This is a good card to close on.
Oh, yeah.
Love. At the heart of it all is love. We are all part of unity consciousness. And I think if anything, through all the tragedies, hold love. When you're holding that space, just hold love. The love frequency is going to be so important, and people will feel it. And you as well. And honestly, I think when you feel love, you just feel better.
Love for yourself. Yeah. Love for others.
For humanity. Mm-hmm. Love for all things great. So I think with that, I don't know what we just talked about. But
we're just trying things here, guys. So if there's topics you'd like us to go in deeper on, or different subjects you want to hear all together, drop us a comment.
We do have some guests that we'll be having on the show as well. We're really excited about that. We'll hear about their journeys and their specific practices that they do. We are also going to have a topic on galactics, which I think will be fun. So if there's anything else, let us know. You guys have a good one. Hang in there.
We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Thanks for catching up with us on the Cosmic Catch Up. If today's episode sparked something in your soul, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share the magic with your fellow seekers. You can hang with us on Instagram at the Cosmic Catch Up for behind the scenes updates and more cosmic goodness.
And if you're feeling the call to go deeper, we offer personal guidance through our individual practices. All the details are in the show notes. And if it's aligned, we trust you'll feel it. Until next time, keep following the magic. The content we share reflects our personal experiences, insights, and opinions. We're not medical, legal, or financial professionals, and we encourage you to always do your own research, trust your intuition, and seek guidance from qualified experts when needed. Take what resonates and leave the rest. This journey is yours to explore.